In this video, I'm going to talk about the most hated cartoon characters of all time, starting with Velma from the 2023 Scooby-Doo spin-off series. Velma is hated for the obvious reason of being a shitty rebooted character of an actually good original character. A lot of people made it seem like people didn't like her due to her being race swapped, but in reality I don't think most people even cared about that, considering Shaggy was also race swapped, but he isn't nearly as hated as Velma. The thing that made Velma so hated by the masses was the way she acted. She is extremely pretentious, bitter, and honestly a bully. She steals Daphne's diary in one of the episodes and reads it in front of the whole school, and she constantly criticizes Fred for his whiteness, which just isn't funny most of the time and more often than not just makes me cringe. She looks down on everyone around her for being dumb, when she herself has nothing to offer. As a character, she lacks substance, just hating everything. You know it's bad when she literally has her own page on the villain's wiki. She's basically a self-insert for the creator of the show, Mindy Kaling, and let's be honest, no one really likes self-inserts. Next on the list is a character that so many people mentioned under my annoying cartoon characters video, that being Angelica Pickles. Now I always knew she had a bad reputation, however I didn't include her in the video because I didn't really watch Rugrats. But after all the comments, I decided to check out some episodes, and now I completely understand what you were saying. Angelica Pickles is evil in child form. She's like DW, but instead of acting as a nuisance to someone older than her, she bullies people younger than her, which is considerably worse. She bullies babies, literal babies. She genuinely enjoys tormenting the kids by gaslighting them into thinking she's a reliable figure to be trusted, while simultaneously striking fear in their hearts with her sadistic lies. The worst things she's done include stealing Chucky's glasses, making Chucky think he was going to die from swallowing a watermelon seed, turning Tommy into her servant and pinning him against his friends, breaking Tommy's lamp and trying to frame it on the twins, and lastly, telling Chucky that no one wants him around. I think the reason why so many people hate her is because she's a little more than just an annoying kid. She's a borderline psychopath.
I did it, and I'd break it again if I had the chance, but you know what? There's nothing you babies can't do about it, 'cause you can't talk.
Although she got better when she grew up a little, her asshole tendencies still didn't completely disappear either. Next on the list has got to be Patrick from SpongeBob. Patrick wasn't always hated, but a shift in the show's direction has caused major changes to the once beloved character's overall demeanor, going from a hilarious, dim-witted yet well-meaning comic relief character to an obnoxious imbecile who people can't stand. Patrick has become insufferable and kind of a jerk to the people around him. He wasn't always loved in the early seasons either, with some people finding his dumb moments annoying. However, the relationship he had with SpongeBob and his occasional episodes of usefulness where he showcased some intelligence made up for that. However, now Patrick has become a lot more one-dimensional. Not to mention the Patrick Star Show that came out in 2021 did nothing but tank the legacy of Patrick Star even more in the eyes of original SpongeBob fans, as he was insanely flanderized and his stupidity was amplified by 100, making him even more unappealing in one note. Another character that a lot of people seem to despise is Chloe from Fairly OddParents. This is because to a lot of fans of the show, she symbolized the end of something great. Many people believe that the show went downhill after her introduction, and they also think her character doesn't make sense. Fairly Godparents are supposed to be reserved for kids with shitty circumstance like Timmy, and the kids who actually need them. Despite this, she gets fairies even though her character is perfect and her life has basically zero flaws. On top of this contradiction, the fact that Chloe had to share Timmy's fairy godparents with him due to there being a fairy shortage also didn't make sense and caused people to have an adverse reaction to her character. She also seemed like she just came out of nowhere. It's like the writers saw the ratings were down and thought, let's just throw in some random girl and that should fix things. I mean, they tried the same thing twice before and both times it didn't work out. Besides these things, there isn't much to hate about her. Her voice is kind of annoying, but it isn't too bad. I think most fans of the show hate what she represents more than they hate her. Chloe's introduction was essentially the downfall of Fairly OddParents, and I think most people would agree. Next up is Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls. Now I know what you might be thinking. What? Why is Mabel on this list? There's people who hate Mabel? Yes, a lot actually. When I was watching Gravity Falls, I never had a problem with Mabel. I always liked Dipper way more, but I never hated Mabel's character. However, it seems some people feel the opposite. Common complaints I hear about Mabel are that she's annoying, selfish, and she never learns her lesson. Many times throughout the show does Mabel guilt trip her brother into sacrificing something for her, whether it be when he sacrificed his chance with Wendy so that Mabel could keep Waddles, or when he got fired from his pool job so Mabel could free Mermando. It happened so much that even Bill Cipher brought it up in one of the episodes, where yet again Dipper sacrifices his time to help her with her puppet show. But when Mabel said she was going to help him crack the code of the mysterious laptop, she flaked on him to impress a guy she doesn't even know.
No way! This is Dipper's! I'd never give it away!
You didn't seem to have a problem taking it for your own play, or ditching him when he needed you, so come to your senses!
Other things people criticize Mabel for are the way she treats Dipper, constantly teasing him about his height, his voice, and his awkwardness. But when Dipper got an opportunity for an apprenticeship with Ford, she got upset about it, blaming him for abandoning her, rather than being happy for his new opportunity. And in the same episode, she gives the rift that she found in Dipper's backpack to Bill Cipher disguised as Blendin, which causes the end of the world basically. I never blamed her for it considering she was in a vulnerable state, but many fans think Mabel should have known better than to do that, and it proves her character has no grasp of consequences. Some honorable mentions before the last person are Randall from Recess, who is hated for the simple fact that he's a snitch, and of course no one's gonna like a snitch. If you like him, you're probably a snitch too, and just know, no one likes you. Princess Morbucks from Powerpuff Girls also deserves a mention for being a rich, spoiled brat. People hate her because of her entitlement, as she wanted to join the Powerpuff Girls but she was rejected. She could have easily used her resources to become her own hero, but she would rather try to fight the Powerpuff Girls instead because she can't take no for an answer. Last on the list of most hated cartoon characters is Amber from Invincible. Before I explain why she's hated, let me just say I haven't seen season 2, so I don't know if she is still unbearable. But in season 1, Amber was a horribly written character which caused people to hate on her. I would say the hate was warranted because Amber just didn't make sense as a character. At the beginning, she takes an interest in Mark for standing up to this jock on her behalf. She then blackmails the guy into apologizing to Mark and letting him know that she likes him, which makes you think, oh, this Amber girl's kinda badass. However, once Amber and Mark start dating, things begin to change. He starts to flake on her during most of the dates because obviously he's a superhero and he has to protect people. She gets upset, which is understandable from her perspective. I mean, the guy she likes keeps bailing on her, so who wouldn't be upset, right? However, everything changes once Mark runs away during a college trip to turn into Invincible. He takes care of the threat and returns back as normal once everything is over. Amber cries because she thinks he left her in a dangerous situation, which causes Mark to decide to reveal his identity to her once they get back home. He does this to save the relationship because now he can finally let Amber know why he's been running away all the time. However, once he finally tells her, she tells him that she always knew he was invincible and that she was mad that he never told her. This just didn't make sense to anyone watching. How could she expect him to tell her his secret identity when they have only been dating for like a month? The whole time Mark dipped on her, she knew he was trying to save people, but she was still upset about it. It was obvious Mark was conflicted and he cared about her, but she gave him no grace. She just expected him to put her over his responsibilities or reveal his secret identity to a girl he just met, which is unrealistic. If you saw season 2 of Invincible, let me know if she becomes a decent character, as I'm curious to see whether or not the writers cared to fix her. And if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and comment down below anyone I missed.